Hello everyone, welcome back to the performance engineering session. In this today's session, we will be discussing about resiliency of the applications. So basically here we'll be validating how our systems are performing from the resiliency perspective. So in our previous session, we will try to understand how exactly system behaves when one of the node itself gets crashed. So that was the experiment we did it in the previous session. So this session we don't crash the or we don't terminate the VM instance as it is, but we will try to induce issues on the CPU. So what we will do basically here, we will have an application again deployed in a one or two VMs. Okay. When load is being generated on the application, so we'll try to make sure that CPU utilization on one of the VM goes above 95% all of a sudden. Okay, so then we'll try to analyze how exactly system behaves and how exactly system recovers if at all there are any issues. Okay, so let us get into the GCP console. Basically, this experiment we'll do it on the GCP. Okay, so yeah, so this is the GCP console. So basically here we have one VM instance. Before that, I think we can start from the load balancer setup. So this is the load balancer. This is the load balancer, and name of the load balancer is this particular one. Again, if you go inside the load balancer, then we will see one instance group is connected to this particular load balancer. Okay. So yeah, this particular load balancer, and we have one instance group here. Okay. So for auto scaling, this is the target we had set. I think that should be fine. Okay. So then if we go inside the instance group, let us see how many instances we have. Okay. Okay, here we have only one instance. This is the name of the instance, and this is external IP and internal IP. At this point of time, it is healthy as well. Okay, this instance is healthy. Okay, and also now we can connect to the SSH. I mean, we can connect to the VM console basically, and we can monitor what is the CPU memory utilization as well. Okay, so at this point of time, if you see CPU utilization on this particular server is less than 1%. Okay, so that's how the CPU utilization is all about. Okay, so now let us generate the load and generate the load on uh, this particular VM instance. And while load is being generated, so we'll try to induce an issue wherein it will create 100% CPU utilization on that particular server. Okay, so basically, so once CPU utilization of that particular VM instance becomes 100% all of a sudden, so we'll try to analyze how exactly system behaves. Okay, so that is the point. Again, as I said, so here we have JMeter. So basically, JMeter is being used to generate load on the system. Okay, so here we are applying, we are generating an incremental load. That load starts from 50 and it goes up to 1,000 users. By the way, it is in an incremental fashion. Okay. And also one another thing is here. Um, so by the way, another point we need to know here is the JMeter execution mode. Basically, JMeter offers two types of execution: GUI mode and non-GUI mode. Here we are using the non-GUI mode to conduct the test execution. So basically, in non-GUI mode, it doesn't consume much of the hardware resources, like especially memory and CPU. Okay, so let us start the test. Okay, we have started the test. Okay, so started the test. Okay, yeah, started the test. If you see, this is the number of samples, 1312 samples are there. And this is the TPS or RPS, whatever we call. And this is the average response time, minimum response time, and maximum response time. And this is the error percentage. And these are the number of users started. This is the number of active users, and it is started and it is finished. So active is 50, started is 50. It means 50 users are running, and finished are 0. It means all 50 users are active at this point of time. Okay, now we have started the test. I think 40 seconds over. Okay, maybe now we can induce an issue wherein it will create 100% CPU utilization. By the way, one more thing is we can also generate a load from the JMeter which can create 100% CPU utilization. So that's also one case. But in this case, we are not generating 100% CPU utilization, 100% CPU utilization through the JMeter. So basically, we are leveraging a few of the Linux built-in commands in order to generate more load on the CPU spike on the Linux VM. Okay, so basically, it is a stress command. Okay, so 1 second. Basically, here we make use of stress command. Okay, so here it is a stress hyphen CPU and number of CPUs. I think here in our missions we have 2 CPUs. Okay, we will try to create stress on those 2 CPUs. Okay. Okay. So now if you see what is the CPU utilization, it should have gone up actually. See, if you see the CPU utilization has become 95% or 100% all of a sudden. Okay. Now in this case, let us see how exactly our test is going on. Okay. Do we see any errors, or is there any degradation in the response time or something like that we can observe here? So, okay, we don't see any degradation in the response time here, at least in this case. Okay. There is no degradation in the response time. Okay, so this is fine, and also there are no any errors as well. Okay, now question is how GCP is able to manage such a burst in the CPU utilization of one of the VM instance. Okay, so this is being managed with the help of other instances which it created. Okay, so now what happens, whichever load that comes to the load balancer, so it will redirect it to the other instances which it is created. Okay, so with this actually it is able to manage high CPU spike in one of the instance in the system. Okay, so in summary, what we have done, so when we started the test, we had only one VM instance, and we were trying to hit default web page configured in that particular VM. So through that, actually, we wanted to generate the load. So we started under user load. We could see there is no issues with the CPU memory network IO. It was everything was fine. So after 1 minute, so basically with the help of a few Linux utilities, we tried to see that CPU utilization on that particular server went up to 100%. Okay, so that is what we have done. So, but again, after though CPU utilization on that particular server went up to 100%, so we did not see any difference in the response time or throughput. Okay, so everything was fine. So we were curious to see how how we were able to achieve that. Okay, so in spite of in spite of CPU utilization went up to 100% on the server. Okay, so but still we did not see any uh, degradation in the response times, or there were no any errors as such. Okay, so when we when we went back to the GCP console, we could see that GCP created few other instances so that all the load which were generating were accommodated by these three instances, because our load was incremental load, was continuously generating the load. Okay, even if we see at this point of time how many number of users we have, 300 users are there. Okay, so by the way, this is the case that we wanted to replicate today's session. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. We will continue to conduct a few other experiments or few other performance related case studies in GCP or any other cloud vendors. Thank you very much for watching this video.